finished 4th, 3rd and 2nd on the championship ladder. Now Ryan Carr's men are just 80 minutes away from ending a 24-year absence from the top flight. But the Wolfpack are desperate to go one better than 12 months ago when London won here in last year's £1 million game to extend their Super League life at the host's expense. It's a huge game. Chris Kendall is the man in the middle for it. The biggest game in Toronto's history. We said that 12 months ago. They were upset by London. They do not want history to repeat itself.
When you're ready, mate.
But Featherstone, a huge date for them as well as they try to get back in the top flight. That is what's at stake. And it's Featherstone who will have the first possession. A huge run first up.
Well, they need plenty more of that. Jack Ormron with a straight carry, and this man scored a couple of tries last week in the south of France, John Davies. They've won some friends, haven't they? The way that they've played, they've been absolutely brilliant in this playoff series. 3 away wins. Can they make it 4? They've got to have the game of their lives, I think, here, lads.
Typical sniping run from Connor Jones, gets Featherstone on the front foot early. 3 tackles gone. Jones, it is in possession, gets the ball away. And this is Jack Bussey, the former Toronto Wolfpack man. Back at Featherstone after 2 seasons here, 8 tries in 36 Wolfpack appearances. He will need no motivation for this one. McClellan under pressure, he puts the boot to ball. It's a high kick, but taken brilliantly by the newly crowned Championship Player of the Year, Gareth O'Brien.
You're right, McClellan under pressure. Chisholm, McClellan, the heartbeat and the brains trust of this Featherstone side will have to make those decisions, and they've been good decisions in the last few weeks. They'll have to make them quicker.
Really good run from Chase Stanley on the Toronto right-hand side. Quick play of the ball as well. Featherstone will find it hard to live with this pace. The part-timers, of course, from West Yorkshire. The LD Nutrition Stadium packed to the rafters. Big screen there, watching this one. Joe Mellor for Toronto.
Clear.
The kick is aerial again, testing Ash Golding, and he's done well under that. The former Leeds man, so experienced, of course. Huddersfield bound for 2020.
Well, he's been really impressive, hasn't he, Ash Golding? And I think when Ash Golding comes up against Gareth O'Brien in a dominant defence like that, you've got to make sure you win the first 3 plays. Toronto did just that. They got on the front foot, they kicked, they put Golding under pressure, and now they're really struggling to make any metres.
Well done, mate. 3.
Holding met by a red wall of Toronto defence there. It continues in the shape there of John Wilkin. Quick play the ball, and that gets Featherstone slightly out of trouble, and Dane Chisholm puts boot to ball on the last tackle. Turns Toronto around, turns Matty Russell around. It's going to be Gareth O'Brien, though, who collects. Does find the former Warrington man, Matty Russell.
Again from Featherstone, 1 out carries, just content to chew up the metres, get some field position in territory. Dane Chisholm it was on that occasion, a little bit more time than McClellan, places it on a sideline. Look at the ball movement, different styles from the Toronto Wolfpack to the Featherstone side.
Andrew Dixon played the ball, and immediately it was Blake Wallace involved there.
Hold it, go for.
But Andy Ackers, I beg your pardon.
Last. Move, John. Go last.
Dixon on the last for Toronto. Back from McCrone. He's under pressure. Does manage to get the ball away. Breathless, opening 3 minutes.
Well, that's what you need to do. You need to put pressure on the kickers. You identify who's going to be kicking the ball, Mellor or McCrone. Get up in their eye line. Again, just looking to try and play through the middle of the field here. Nice and conservative from this Featherstone side. They don't want to make the mistake. They don't want to be giving penalties away. Just want to roll the way up the field.
Ash Golding being singled out for plenty of work early on as Hardcastle goes to ground. That was Connor Jones. Dane Chisholm gets the ball away. McCrone, though, is there alongside Chase Stanley to shut the door on Sutcliffe. Away by Harrison. McClellan with the kick. It's a teasing one as well. There's some sunshine around, and Matty Russell seemed to be struggling under that as he collected that successfully.
3 sets Featherstone have had. 3 sets, they've finished in exactly the same way, with a kick to the corner on the left-hand side. Matty Russell, as we've said, important try scorers. Notched up 27 so far this year.
8 of the 17 in this Toronto lineup, beaten by London last year. They will want to go one better. They know just how bitter 2018 tasted. Here is Ashton Sims.
That play the ball from Toronto is super quick. Featherstone really struggling here to slow him down.
On the last tackle, McCrone flings the ball for Chase Stanley. It's his kick. Golding again is underneath it. Look at the chase, though, in the red shirts of Toronto, and they force Golding back towards his own line as well.
We're just short of 5 minutes. The pace of this game is high. The physicality is high. Let's not forget all the travelling that Featherstone have had to do. It's going to really test the conditioning of both sets of players.
That was Jack Render who played the ball. That was opposite centre Jack Johnson. To see the wingers getting involved, it's going to be an energy conservation effort as much as anything else, but a knock on there. And a first mistake from Featherstone Rovers.
Yeah, Harrison just looking for a straight-up carry off the ruck. There's nothing wrong with the pass from Connor Jones. He just takes his eye off the ball. He's got Mullally in front of him, he's got Dixon in front of him, and loses possession 35 metres from the line.
James Harrison, his father Carl, secured an instant Super League return for Salford 16 years ago, beating Lee in the 2003 National League 1 Grand Final. And the 23-year-old take Featherstone into the promised land in 2019. Mellor gets the ball away. This is Bodine Thompson. First taste of action. The New Zealand Maori international. Ashton Sims with another strong run. His last appearance. Wilkin at the line, dangerous. Gives it to McCrone, further wide. Dixon, though, is tackled right at the death there by Dane Chisholm. Look how close Toronto Wolfpack are. McCrone with the crossfield run. Gives it to Mellor, back on the inside. Here is Bodine Thompson again. Grand finalist with Warrington last year. 5 metres away from the line. Ackers gets the ball away to Wilkin, throws the dummy. Good defence from Featherstone Rovers. They've just got one more to hold out here. Can they do it? 6.5 gone. McCrone. This is Gareth O'Brien. They have managed to shut the door. He's managed to offload, though, Chase Stanley. It's a knock down by Featherstone. I think they heard the referee, Chris Kendall, say that. There could be some more defence to do in a minute.
Yeah, some more pressure there for Featherstone. Work hard when the ball goes away from you. They can shift the ball 2 or 3 passes. They then drop the ball underneath, looking for a defender who's switched off where the action area is. So for Featherstone, again, under pressure, need to make sure that they come up with the defensive reads that they need and what the coach Ryan Carr would have been working on in training.
Well, this is the 3rd occasion Featherstone had to defend. They had a defensive set to do. Then they retained the ball, dropped the ball through Harrison, and then this set of 6 they'll have to defend. Again, fitness and concentration tested.
Back-to-back sets then for Toronto Wolfpack, just 10 metres away from the Featherstone line. Huge test coming up for the Rovers' defence. Ackers gets the ball away for Wilkin, throws a dummy. It's a really good tackle to shut the door from Featherstone. They're only 5 metres away now, though. Ackers. That's McCrone. Good ball as well. O'Brien can't offload. Great scrambling defence on show from the visitors. McCrone again. Short ball for Wilkin. Foreman drawing in there for Rovers.
Wait, go for.
Ackers. Feinted to go one way, came back the other. McCrone with the pass, and they've managed to find Liam Kay in space, and Liam Kay is dangerous. And that's brilliant defence again from Featherstone. Johnson it was. Here's the last opportunity, though, for Toronto, and it's crossfield from McCrone, who wants it. Featherstone have got it. Well, McClelland who's picked it up.
Well, he comes up with it, doesn't he, McClelland, and then he manages to make another 10 or 15 metres. When the ball went to Toronto's right-hand side, you had Sutcliffe, you had Johnson, 2 players that were shooting in, that were jamming in, trying to close the players down. Just be nice and controlled and composed when you're defending your line.
Well, Ricky Latelli showing he's not just a runner, he's not just a passer. He competed for that kick and almost got it back for his side.
Look at the commitment from Hardcastle there. Really nice run to put Featherstone on the front foot in this set. Bussey's made the break, he's got some space, and Bussey with support. Couldn't get the ball away. Desperate defence this time from Toronto. What can Featherstone do? Dane Chisholm, crossfield again. Almost taken. It was Jack Johnson who's knocked it forward.
Well, what about that? What about the play from Bussey when he goes straight up the middle of the field? Shows some speed, very versatile, Bussey. They kick, they go in for Jack Johnson, but you can see when he's going up to challenge for that ball, he just knocks the ball forward. Big set of 6 here. Now for Featherstone, they've earned all that meters. Nice work from them. But they've got to make sure that they do the defensive part of the game as well.
Smart rugby player, isn't it, Jack Bussey? He knows that he's been called offside, the Toronto player. Sees the opportunity. And he gobbles up 25 metres for his side.
Here's the counter, though, from Toronto Wolfpack and Ricky Latelli. Quick play the ball. Andy Ackers immediately allowed to the possibilities. Here now is Joe Mellor into Bussey's tackle. Really nice work downstairs from last week's hero, John Davis. 2 tries. Wilkin, McCrone, delayed ball for O'Brien. That was lovely. Back on the inside. They managed to find Chase Stanley, had an option outside. Decided to take the tackle on the last, and again Featherstone doing off.
Well, the scrambling defence from Featherstone, but how long you can keep scrambling as a team when you keep getting broke? It's very difficult, takes an awful lot of energy. You're coming from all over the field, all over that defensive line. You're coming to support your teammates.
10.5 breathless minutes gone. Nothing to choose between these two sides. A place in Super League, remember, is the prize at the end of this one.
They've just got to stick with the pace, haven't they, Featherstone? A lot of ball movement, 1 or 2 half breaks from the Toronto Wolfpack, and of course that Jack Bussey effort. Just see the body language then, and then the kick from the standoff there. He knows that that ball goes over the sideline, so his pack of forwards can take their time a little bit, not walk, but meander their way to the scrum and just get some valuable oxygen in the lungs.
Worth remembering, Callum McClellan's just put that kick in. He's only 20 years of age. He kicked on the 3rd tackle there. Knew exactly what his forwards needed, knew they needed a breather, and he's delivered exactly that.
Well, what he was looking at, Benny, he was looking at what was in front of him. The winger hadn't dropped back. It was on the 3rd play. The wingers normally drop back on the 4th and 5th play. So he's looking for space. He was going for the 40-20. It doesn't come off for them, but they get that field position that they're after.
The speed of that play the ball from Toronto. Featherstone haven't got a set defensive line. If that ball is played before the markers are set, it means the defenders aren't back, and it means there's plenty to go at for the Wolfpack.
Offload found Ackers. Bodine Thompson. Scramble to the floor. Jack Render there. Wilkin. Davis with the tackle. Couple left in the bank for the Wolfpack. Ackers for McCrone. Goes behind the man though. McCrone has to pick up the pieces. They're going to have one more chance though. Brian McDermott's men. Kick scooped into the arms of Ash Golding once more.
Well, Gareth O'Brien was the man who kicked the ball. Miscommunication at the end of that set, but again from Toronto, direct in the way that they're carrying the ball, direct in the way that they are defended. Looking at trying to chop some of these Featherstone players the way that they're carrying the ball close to the ruck area.
There's no doubt Brian McDermott's a smart coach. He'll have talked about everything they've gone through.
Look at this from Bussey.
Oh, he's a player, isn't he, Callum McClennan?
Oh, McClennan, I beg your pardon, yeah. Here is Jack Bussey now. He who made the break earlier in the half. Rockwood.
They need to find that energy. Just going back to the Brian McDermott point, as we see the break again from McClennan having a big influence for his side. They will tire at some point, and Brian McDermott may well have set out with the tactic, move the ball, make these forwards work. Let's see how fit and how up for this challenge they are.
Gareth O'Brien almost collected that kick beneath his own posts. Starting to win the territory battle a little more now, Featherstone. Matty Russell. That was Mellor. Now Wilkin, McCrone. Stanley. McCrone, Wilkin, Ashton Sims. John Davis with an important tackle downstairs. There could be a problem. It's okay, it's back on the inside meanwhile, and a chance for Toronto Wolfpack. What a tackle on Andrew Dixon.
Oh, a nice read in defence. I think that was Jack Johnson who comes in. That's the timing that you'd have to, when you're going to make the decision to wedge in, you've got to make sure that you nail that play. Here he is bringing the ball away.
Second time we've seen that, isn't it? Lutelli coming looking for work, going inside and getting an inside pass, hoping to catch a tired or lazy defender from Featherstone.
Hardcastle plays the ball. Packers, Wilkin, Dixon on defensive duty for Toronto. Connor Jones. There's Lockwood.
What you would think, looking at Featherstone when they're carrying the ball, they need some push, they need some shape around them. The one-up carries won't affect the way that Toronto defend. You want them to make those bad decisions.
McClellan with another testing kick, and O'Brien has the answer.
That is a good point, that, when you see that Toronto Wolfpack on the ball, they'll put two passes and almost a break from Russell. They'll put two passes, so defenders have to move from one side to another. They have to adjust, and that takes energy out of the tank.
Another quick carry from Joe Mellor. And already Toronto almost on the halfway line. Dixon crosses it now. Ormond George with the tackle. McCrone, Wilkin. Featherstone have lived with Toronto for the opening 16 minutes. O'Brien puts boot to ball, lofted kick. Taken brilliantly there by Chase Stanley and flung backwards. Dixon is there, who wants it most? Featherstone have it.
Well, it's a good job. I think it's Sutcliffe that comes down with the ball then. There was a mistake. I think it was a Featherstone hand that touched the ball, so they had to be first to get down. Now you can see it comes off Dane Chisholm. And Sutcliffe had to be brave to get down on that ball as quick as he could.
20 years of age, Alex Sutcliffe already played on the big stage this season. He was a sub at Anfield as Leeds beat the London Broncos.
Well, McAtower onto the field now. There's been some relentless pressure and speed from Toronto, so the big men are going to be feeling it now. Nice drive from Davis.
Punching a hole right through that Toronto defence. On the lash, McClellan. More work for O'Brien.
Well taken again. The chase, the attention to detail from Featherstone, and then ball movement from the Wolfpack off the back of it. We've got a team with nothing to lose in Featherstone, playing against the Toronto Wolfpack under pressure. But Brian McDermott has tried his best to take that pressure and said, look, let's just go out there and let's collect the prize.
Gareth O'Brien, the £1 million game hero 3 years ago, of course, his own history with this fixture, kicked an extra-time drop goal to secure Salford's Super League life at Hull Kingston Rovers. Meanwhile, this, though, is Andy Ackers in the clear. Andy Ackers still going, Golding trying to cut the space down. He's flung it into Matty Russell. Matty Russell stays in the field of play. They've got tackles in the bank. What can Toronto do here? Can Featherstone hold out? Dummy from Ackers. They've lost some of the momentum. Comes back from McCrone. Now it's Ashton Sims. Chase Stanley has support from Liam Kay. He's going to take it himself. That's how close Chase Stanley has come. Kay gets the ball out for O'Brien.
Again, they've done well to recover then. Some great defence from Ash Golding over on the right-hand side that stops them from scoring a try from the Andy Ackers bait. Look at that, just punch a line. Andy Ackers pushed up well with Lutelli. He offloads the ball to him, and then in turn he gives it to Matty Russell. Great defence yet again, determined defence.
That's a solid shot from Ashton Sims. He's trying to come in Hardcastle and take some pressure, do some work. Let the forwards take a breather. McAtower trying to get valuable metres upfield.
McAtower trying the home defeat to Toronto over Easter. Bussey wanted the penalty, he's not going to get it. Connor Jones gets the ball away.
If I'm McLennan or Chisholm now, I'm thinking of kicking the ball off the field. The big fellas have worked really hard here.
McClellan has it. And that is exactly what he does.
And that's something our studio guest Tony Ray talked about. If Featherstone can control the speed and tempo of the game and not let the Toronto Wolfpack get into their natural rhythm, fast, quick, play the ball speed in favour of the Wolfpack, and unset defensive line facing them, they're going to break and they're going to present opportunities and ultimately take those opportunities as well.
First real break in the opening 19 minutes or so. Set off at a frantic pace, this one. Featherstone, of course, the part-time team. Will that be a factor later on? Here is Dixon, meanwhile, for Toronto.
Just about to hit the end of the first quarter, and for me, this is a 50-50 contest so far. They've stood up tall, Featherstone Rovers.
Mellor's pass, Ricky Latelli. McClellan in attendance. Mellor. O'Brien. Wilkin. Step from McCrone. Offload from McCrone. There'll be something here. Joe Mellor has it again. Thompson flings the ball wide. Russell managed to get the ball away somehow. Touches a Featherstone hand. O'Brien. Dixon cutting through. What a tackle that was from Davis. Last one coming up.
Oh, penalty. Just too long.
He knows what he's doing though, doesn't he, John Davis? He knows his side is struggling. Offloads, a scattered defensive line. They managed to get bodies in front, and John Davis, he knocks his knees together. Dixon saves the try, gives the penalty away, and he'll shrug his shoulders, say, let's go again, lads.
Davis, one of the championship's best for the best part of a decade. Played Super League with Castleford back in 2010. Wilkin. Mellor. Obstruction there.
Obstruction, Joe
and they
Mellor.
waste the opportunity.
Well, Joe Mellor, he was caught in two minds. He didn't know whether to take on and step back in field. Look at him when he gets it. I think it's McClellan that goes up. He pushes up hard and he makes the decision. He steps off his left. He goes back across. Then he runs around Bodine Thompson. But they get away with it, Featherstone, in that penalty from John Davis. It could have been a costly penalty, but Featherstone doing a decent job yet again and forcing Toronto into making that mistake.
Joe Mellor grabbed his first Wolfpack double in that semi-final win over Toulouse. Harrison plays the ball. Golding finds skipper Lock. Connor Jones, Davis, McClellan. Golding again. Promising for Featherstone here.
It had to go, that ball then. Jack Render, the winger, was free and open.
Hardcastle couldn't release. McClellan again. Dane Chisholm. The flick. Looking for Alex Sutcliffe. He has to go back a little and he's lost the ball. And immediately, Josh McCrone is pounced for Toronto. Chase Stanley on the back of it. Noise levels lift around the Lamport Stadium.
Well, that's what you get from Toronto, the transition from defence to attack. They are an attacking side. Look at this now, all of them in decent attacking shape, all of them with their hands up. See, the ball's played up.
Darcy
Chase Stanley.
Trying to ramp up the pressure in attack now. He's seen his brother get to a grand final. Now he wants to win one.
Oh, knock on here.
I think he's saying that Bodine Thompson didn't regain his feet. He tried to play that ball quickly, Bodine Thompson. Featherstone, credit to them. They have not given in, and they continue to show up for one another. That's something Ryan Carr's really proud of. And the town of Featherstone, the supporters of the Featherstone Rovers can say that this is a genuine team. In Super League, we watched Salford Red Devils defeat Wigan Warriors, the holders of the Super League trophy, by using that same spirit and endeavour.
Render for Featherstone. Johnson now. Jones. Dane Chisholm. Golding. Jones again. This time it's Makatoa. To find some space down the centre of the field. Good pace from Connor Jones.
Oh, did well to get that then,
Connor did really well to hold on to that.
Wonderful hands.
Bodine Thompson was coming in to smash him.
Dane Chisholm, skip from him. Kick on the third tackle.
The fullback asking whether he caught that ball in goal. I think he has a fair call as well.
No, he jumps, doesn't have his foot grounded, but he jumps from the field of play, and then he gets his foot behind the try line. Good call, I think, that from the referee, Chris Kendall. Look at this when he's getting it. He's in the field of play, then he jumps over the line.
Oh, I think it's close. They get the ball, Toronto, they won't complain, and then they make a mistake. But look at the celebrations from Featherstone.
Do you know, you can put this game into context as well. It's a game between the haves and the have-nots. And Toronto have a population, the city has a population of 6 million people. There's 5 other professional teams in the city. The Wolfpack received over 670 million media impressions in 2019. And Featherstone are a town in Yorkshire with a population of 15,000. They are the hub of the community, who will be all in the local pubs at the stadium supporting them in this big occasion. It's massive for Featherstone, and look at that crowd. Toronto, what a great job they have done, not only promoting this game, but over the last 3 years, brilliant job.
The Toronto Maple Leafs in action against the Montreal Canadiens in around about 4 hours' time. Plenty of sport going on in this city. Lockwood. Put to ground by Ackers. Connor Jones to pass away. Golding again. Wrestles free from one tackler. That's great pace as well from Ashton Golding. Really important tackle from Gareth O'Brien. Connor Jones waits. Really good opportunity this for Featherstone. Davis, the hero last weekend. Still going. The 28-year-old Connor Jones. Dane Chisholm. McClellan. Great work from Bodine Thompson to shut the door, but he's offloaded the ball. Thompson had it initially.
Well, what's the decision? The referee.
It's hard castle with ball in hand,
but it's a late offload. Bodine Thompson, in his attempt to try and regather it, you can just see him, the number 12, he knocks it forward. And Featherstone Rovers, well, they get possession back. Good pressure on the young standoff. He then shows the courage and commitment to try and find that offload. And his side will have a little look at the Wolfpack line. I think this might be the first time we've been in decent field position with plenty of tackles in the bank.
Another good opportunity for Featherstone. Needs some composure now, Ryan Carr's men. Connor Jones. Now Makatoa. Combination of Thompson and Ashton Sims in attendance for Toronto. Jones, McClellan, Jack Bussey, how he would love to stretch out and score against his former side. Just a metre short. McClellan. Makatoa, standing start. Lussick all over him. Ackers in there as well. And it's Connor Jones trying to find the line. One chance left for Featherstone Rovers. Dane Chisholm. It's a really intelligent kick. Sutcliffe is chasing it. Liam Kay is there.
Oh, to try this.
Johnson's pounced on it. Johnson's put the ball down.
Wow.
He's given the try. Jack Johnson, his 4th of the season. 4 points for Featherstone Rovers, the opener for the visitors. They are in dreamland right now. The start that no one expected. Well, Featherstone Rovers over for the opener, and Jack Johnson has got it. He got a try at the win across the channel last Sunday. Now he gets a try across the Atlantic.
Well, they broke him on 2 occasions, but like Barry said, this is the first time that they've had a real crack at the line with tackles in the bank. And a clever kick from Chisholm puts them under pressure. Look at that, thread the ball through the line. Liam Kay can't get rid of it. He's just thinking of Sutcliffe. And then Johnson comes up nice and calm and grounds the ball.
What an absolutely wonderful piece of skill from Dane Chisholm. He runs sideways, he pulls the defensive line up, he puts some bend on the ball by kicking it on the corner, and he gives his centre and winger an excellent chance of getting there. Alex Sutcliffe, Jack Johnson in the eye line, putting pressure on Liam Kay, who ultimately couldn't deal with it. Celebration from the Featherstone fans. Mark Campbell, the owner, he's sat somewhere in and amongst that, having an absolute ball, I'll bet.
Lift off for the flat cappers. And Dane Chisholm with a chance to add 2 more points from the sideline. He needs some more composure here, the French international. It's the angle he has. Closing on the half hour. It's a great kick as well from Dane Chisholm, and Featherstone Rovers take a 6-0 lead. They've beaten Lee, they've beaten York, they've beaten Toulouse, and they are now winning in Toronto.
Exactly, Ben. Why wouldn't this team be confident? Another away win. Is it that far away from them? No, it's not. They are a team full of confidence. The way that they've performed in these playoffs, well, they've been absolutely brilliant. Scoring 30 points or more in those 3 games. They know how to get across the try line. They've got to do the other stuff against this Toronto side. They've got to defend. They can slow the ruck down. They've got a great chance of earning their right to play in Super League.
Looking to rejoin the elite for the first time since 1995, Featherstone Rovers. Makatoa. Harrison. Flattened by Gadwin Springer from the bench for Toronto.
A big set after scoring points. Offload. How do you do that? Do you put pressure on your teammate? Chisholm's just bouncing across the line. He lobsters the ball. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're not offloading the ball to a man who's in a better position than you. Yeah, I like the way that the attitude of them. We'll take our chances. You score some points, though. Get down and play the ball.
Inside the last 10 minutes, first half, and 2 huge games ahead for you here on Sky Sports. The NRL Grand Final in the morning, 9:30 start, Sky Sports Arena. Sydney Roosters, the premiers, against the Englishmen of Canberra Raiders. And then the big one in Super League, St Helens against Salford after that monumental performance last night. Next Saturday, 5 o'clock. 9 minutes to go here. Featherstone in front. Toronto desperate for something in this last 9 minutes. Gadwin Springer from the bench. What an impact he's having already. Andy Ackers. Brilliant feint, took 3 out, got the ball away, and they've got the ball down, have they? It's going to be an instant response for Toronto. Josh McCrone, the man under the pile of bodies, I think. Featherstone Rovers ahead for just a couple of minutes, and Josh McCrone, the skipper, just led by example.
You cannot make mistakes in a game of this magnitude and handing possession to a team that you've just scored against. There's a potential that the embarrassment, the anger, that you've got the audacity to score in this £1 million game against the Wolfpack has only made them more determined to get over the try line. And Josh McCrone, the skipper, the captain, the leader, he says, give me that ball.
A try in the July defeat of Featherstone Rovers here. Now a huge 4-pointer in the £1 million game. Gareth O'Brien, 97 goals this season. For parity. He's pulled the ball from a much better position than Featherstone had for their kick with Dane Chisholm. Featherstone still in front, 6 points to 4.
Well, you give them Toronto a big wake-up call when you scored the first try. Then what you can't do is gift them that field position by coming up with a couple of crazy offloads. It wasn't as though there's only 5 minutes to go on the clock and you're behind by 2 points and you need to keep the ball alive and score. Get through your set and kick it as far away from your try line as you can. Get back into the grind, get back into the game, and keep them up here.
Big impact from Gadwin Springer, though, when he charged that ball forward, scattered defenders, and gave the bloke behind him a chance. He'll get another carry here, the big man.
Ackers, now Dixon. 4-man welcoming committee for Featherstone. Makatoa in there as well. Springer once more.
Second carry in the set of 6 for him.
Takes Lockwood with him. And McCrone with a really enticing kick. Golding is there, shut down immediately though by Liam Kay.
His positioning is really good, isn't it, Ashton Golding? He's brave as well. So calm at the back and under pressure from Toronto. Seeing all those red jerseys, just chasing hard. Here he is again. Big appetite for work. And manhandled, pushed backwards by 3 big players.
But not put on the ground, importantly. That's the reason. Alex Sutcliffe carrying the ball next, has a good chance to make meters. Hardcastle doing the same.
Solid progress from Featherstone Rovers. On the last tackle, it's McClelland looking for the sideline again, finding the sideline again.
And again, your half-back tasked with getting you around the field, recognising that there's just 5 minutes to go before half-time. 2 points in front. Toronto will be the team that will be under pressure in the second half if they can keep this 2-point advantage, Featherstone. Haven't they shown up well?
We've seen throughout this playoff system, this playoff series, that Featherstone do not fear anybody. They've got quality halfbacks in Chisholm and McClelland. That kick, a bending kick, finds its way to touch because of the way it's kicked on the point, and it does its job.
Cameron Springer, former Castleford man, outstanding against Featherstone so far. Inside the last 5, first half. Wilkin, Dixon.
They like that play, don't they? They look left, look one side, put it back across to the other side, see if there's any defenders switching off, clocking off.
Lussick, Ackers, Wilkin, McCrone, the try scorer. Dixon now. McCrone under pressure. Does manage to get the kick away to test for Golding once more, and he's come up with the answers again.
You know, it must be so good for these Featherstone players, knowing that then that ball goes high in the air. You've got a man at the back who doesn't fear anybody who's coming onto it. His first focus is catching that ball, not looking at what's in front of him. It certainly does help them get out of trouble.
Some more solid progress forward as Render is tackled by Springer. Cameron King on the field now for Featherstone. A huge plus that he is out there. Rovers' leading scorer with 18 in all competitions, 17 in the championship. He's missed the last 3 playoff games. A huge boost for Ryan Carr that he is out there.
Massive kick from Dane Chisholm then. Kicks the ball over into the corner, makes valuable meters. And look at this Featherstone. Now, they've got some urgency in the way that they're defending. Get on the back of a decent kick. Back it up with some strong defence.
Latelli, Mellor, Stanley, big hit there from Cameron King. Wilkin now, and Lussick spinning into the tackle there of Makatoa. And the Ackers.
It's a different kick as well from Toronto. It's not a high kick that's putting Ash Golding under some pressure. That's because the decent job that Dane Chisholm did in getting a long kick away, the decent set that Featherstone shown in defence. So it was all about distance from that kick from Toronto.
We're only a few minutes away from half-time. Featherstone, when they kick the ball, they want it to drift over the sideline so they can walk to a scrum. Toronto want to keep this pace high, intensity high. They're keeping it infield, making Featherstone work.
Good defence on show there from Darcy Lussick.
Luke Cooper on for Featherstone. King and Cooper on for the Rovers. That will change the way that the Rovers are playing.
Last tackle, McClelland. Was high this time, testing Matty Russell. Former Warrington man comes up with it.
A set of 6 now that they've got to make sure that they complete the tackles, get numbers in, stay nice and tight. You see Makatoa there. Don't want any distance between the ball carrier and the defender, so there's going to be a wild offload from Toronto. Recognise that threat as well. Anytime that there's a winger or an outside back in behind to play the ball, they're going to scoop from dummy half.
Well, they're in unfamiliar territory here. If they go in with the scoreboard as it is Toronto, they've not been behind at half-time at home this season. Unbeaten, of course.
Some space on the Toronto right-hand side briefly, so Sutcliffe shut the door.
There's a couple of times in this first half that Chase Stanley, he's had his winger outside him, but he's chose to run the ball and take the tackle. Liam Kerr, one of the quickest wingers as well in the championship. Look, maybe quick hands there. Kerr maybe away. He's definitely got a one-on-one with Johnson.
Springer and Dixon. Johnson on the floor. Cameron King. Chisholm. Good run, good angle from Makatoa. The clock is an enemy though. Featherstone Rovers just at the moment, they're in a gilt-edged position. Need to do something quickly though. Maybe time for a couple of tackles. Dane Chisholm. Cooper.
Look at Dane Chisholm organising something here.
Cameron King has it. McClelland, the teasing kick, but O'Brien in exactly the right place.
Featherstone were all set on their left. Dane Chisholm screaming for the ball.
They'll start walking, Chisholm walking along with Sutcliffe then.
Ricky Latelli tackled, and it's been a really competitive first 40 minutes. Look at Ash Golding, he had to do an awful lot of work for it, particularly in those early stages. A try apiece in a game that everyone thought was going to be close. It took 28 minutes for the first try to arrive, courtesy of Jack Johnson from a kick from Dane Chisholm. That was levelled by Josh McCrone. Nothing to choose between these two then, with the second half to come. Half-time, Toronto 4, Featherstone 6.
Well, 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 something unexpected is brewing in Toronto. As it stands, the Featherstone Rovers are now 40 minutes away from a place in Super League. Half an hour of backs-to-wall defence for the visitors as Toronto piled on the pressure in that first half. You have a feeling, though, the home side will have a say in the second 40 minutes. We'll review the first half after this break. Remarkable scoreline at half-time. Featherstone 6, Toronto 4. Coming up for you on Sky Sports Golf from Las Vegas, we've got the Shriners Open. That's coming up next on the PGA Tour. And tomorrow on Sky Sports Premier League, a Super Sunday doubleheader. 1 p.m. Southampton, Chelsea, and at 4 p.m. Newcastle taking on Man United. We're at the half-time point in the 2019 £1 million game in Toronto, the prizey place in Super League for next season. And at half-time, the underdogs, the Featherstone Rovers, have a 2-point half-time lead. Sky, Alex Sutcliffe, we think, has actually got that try on that one. We'll get some confirmation on that. Josh McCrone replying for Toronto. Gareth O'Brien missing what is for him a relatively easy conversion attempt. 6-4 at half-time. Notwithstanding an early chance for Featherstone, Phil Clark, they were pounded and pounded for about a half an hour.
They were, but they needed some positive play to build their confidence and encouragement, and they got it with that break from Jack Bussey. They then got their opponents worried with an early kick in this match. Spin the ball wide, having gone wide, you know, and this was an indication of what was going to come later for them, putting their opponents under pressure, but a knock-on from thingy. The other thing that Featherstone need to do, really, to win this game is to save tries as well as score some. And they do that successfully so many times in this first half. You sense that Toronto are going to find a way over. They look at times that they're just one pass away, but strong defence again, stopping Gareth O'Brien at one end of the field. And again, when the break by Latelli is the number of times that Toronto have half looked through, they're going to break through Featherstone's try line.
They kept coming up with answers when they were broken.
Well, they kept coming up with shirts. Look at all the blue shirts just chasing back, chasing back. They've practiced broken defence clearly because the number of people they're making an effort, they're used to it. Every bounce of the ball they're trying to get, they're getting in the contest and then they're getting bodies around the ball. And it's kept them right in this, more than right in this game. It's taken up a lot of energy. But it's had to be. You know, even if someone slips over, the bloke from the inside's diving there to get the job done. Eventually they get a little bit of a split Ashton Goulding coming up.
You wonder where the try was going to come from. They were all the time on their own line. They got a bit of a breakthrough with that Ash Goulding break, and then the try came from this. Tony, talk us through it.
Well, it's an error, and it's just composure here. He just puts his hand through there. It's a wonderful effort to be able to do that. It was Sutcliffe actually putting their ball down when you look at it closely. The response did come from the skipper, Macron. They were tight point-scoring opportunities, weren't they? It is a struck match, this game.
If Ryan Carr's in the changing rooms, he's got a side that we know would be fatigued from their travels in Toulouse. He's got some part-time players in that squad. To be ahead at half-time, considering the defensive workload they've been through in that first 40 minutes, this is advantage Featherstone.
I don't think you feel tired when you get that excited, and that's what Featherstone will have now. You saw when Ashton Goulding was targeting some of the players here, there was no fatigue in their side here, and their opponents are the ones under pressure. This is where experience in sport, I think, can count for something. Brian McDermott's been in there when the bullets have been flying and he's been able to handle a situation. You've obviously got John Wilkin, who's been in many games. And experience at this level now is a very important asset. It's one they couldn't cope with last year when they were behind against the London Broncos. They didn't play well in the second half. Can they play better? They've struggled to find that backline player. Ricky Latelli, we've not seen enough of him.
Well, their message, you would imagine, the message from Brian McDermott would be, it will come. Keep knocking on the door. It's going to open eventually.
I think they've got to go through them a bit more. I think they're spraying themselves from side to side. That worked last week against Toulouse, or 2 weeks ago against Toulouse. They just don't feel like they've really... The kicking game from Featherstone's been outstanding. Kicking over to Toronto's left has taken O'Brien and Russell out of play, and it's actually taken Latelli out of the game. So they've taken away a lot of their strengths, and Toronto have been trying to find an open game out there. I think they needed to be running from dummy half to pierce them through the middle.
We'll see what they produce in the second half. It is finally poised at half-time. Whatever happens in the second 40 minutes, you are going to witness something special here on Sky Sports. You will either see a Canadian side in Super League for the first time, or you will see the return of the underdogs, the Featherstone Rovers, who have a 2-point half-time lead. Ben and the boys standing by to take you through the second 40 minutes, the other side of this break. Arguably the most remarkable story in the history of a Super League Grand Final. Salford Red Devils will play in their maiden end-of-season showpiece event as they take on the formidable Saints. 5 p.m. Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports main event next Saturday. Amongst the heroes for Salford at the DW Stadium last night was Joey Lussick. His brother Darcy is in action today for the Toronto Wolfpack as they hope to earn a place in Super League. We are at the Betfred Championship Grand Final, the £1 million game, and the underdogs, the Featherstone Rovers, have a 6-4 half-time lead. 3 times this season, Toronto Wolfpack have trailed at half-time. 3 times they have come back to win that game. Well, I trust you enjoyed that first 40 minutes that saw Featherstone Rovers on the ropes for much of the first half, hitting back to score first through Alex Sutcliffe. That has been confirmed before Josh McCrone returned serve for Toronto. Gareth O'Brien unsuccessful with the conversion attempt. That is why we have a 2-point half-time lead. Phil Clark, you said before the game you expected a Toronto Wolfpack onslaught. You questioned whether or not Featherstone would be able to withstand that. That onslaught did come. What about Featherstone's response surprised you? It was
remarkable. Their strength to hold the line. I mean, Toronto threw a lot of punches, if you use that as an analogy, really, and they moved the ball wide, they went down the middle. But Featherstone's ability to withstand that was fantastic, and you've really got to admire the way they've played, the spirit they've had. It would have the opponents even more worried now, the fact that they're ahead. Salford proved it at Wigan. Being ahead's important. That's the crucial question now. When do Toronto... Panic is a word we often use, but let's say worry. Let's go with Phil's use of the word worry. When do Toronto start getting worried in this game?
What they have to do to not be worried is to keep winning their collisions. I think when Featherstone started to win the energy battle, which was sort of after 25, 26 minutes, I think that's when Toronto would feel the worry. They looked a bit stressed. Around about when the try came, Brian McDermott, we see the coach there.
How relaxed will he be?
He wouldn't be relaxed right now. He'd be trying to show a lot of trust, but inside, you know that there's a history of doing this. You're trying to break that, so there's that doubt that's inside the squad. Strap yourselves in. We have the second half of the 2019 £1 million game coming up. Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor, and first Ben Pro to take you through it.
Thanks very much, Brian. Yes, 12 months ago, Toronto suffered heartbreaking 2-point loss at full time in the £1 million game as London clung on to their Super League status. It's the same story halfway through the 2019 decider, and Featherstone 2 points up as we enter this crucial last 40 minutes. Everything's on the line. A season's work comes down to this. Nothing to choose between them in the first 40. 3 minutes was the lead that Featherstone had. It's only the kick that separates them, the conversion successful. Joe Mellor trying to accelerate into the Featherstone line there. Davis clings on for as long as he dare. There was no penalty coming. O'Brien, delayed pass for McCrone. Lettelli shut down in the nick of time there. Hardcastle involved. Knock on from Josh McCrone, the hero in the first 40 with the try for Toronto. And he's put the ball down.
Well, good work from John Davis, getting off the line, pushing up really hard in the eye line of Josh McCrone. That was a massive set of 6 from Toronto as well. They get one quick play of the ball, then Gadwin Springer runs onto the ball, makes a valuable 25 metres. It's a one-on-one tackle, and then it's difficult for Featherstone to win the collisions, and now there's a penalty to Featherstone. John Wilkin was the man who's penalised here.
A mistake from McCrone, and then a defensive error. 3 players in, and John Wilkin doesn't like it, Chris Kendall. And Ben, you said that this is a season's worth. It's more than that, it's 12 months' work. The moment that game finished, when London won the £1 million game in 2018, plans were set in place to not only get to this point, but deliver on this stage.
Featherstone with their noses in front so far. Harris. Dane Chisholm stoops, picks up the ball. That was McClellan, and now Golding injects himself into the line. Hardcastle. McClellan, Davis. Tackle comes in from Thompson. Couple left for Featherstone. Cameron King out there. It's Cooper. Springer amongst the defenders, got through so much work since his introduction. Cameron Springer, a couple of breaks as well. Last chance for Featherstone. McClellan gets away from one, could get away from 2 here.
Oh, he's a runner, isn't he, Callum McClellan? He's so dangerous. You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to organise. Was he going to kick the ball? Then all of a sudden he thinks, no, I've got some pressure on me. Bodine Thompson shot the line. There's going to be some space where he's come from. And Brian McDermott, well, they've been in 4 grand finals with Leeds Rhinos. They've never had to come from behind in the second half, so he's going to be tested here.
Dixon played the ball. Ackers gets the ball away this time for Chase Stanley. Pick up is by Liam Kay, an acceleration from the Irish international. 2 tries in Toronto's first ever game at London Scholars. Certainly in the league, club record 65 tries and 62 appearances.
Well, a couple of times they've just not quite got their attacking lines right, have they, Toronto? They've been penalised for Gadwin Springer, and there's the man who just runs into the defender, and the referee right on the spot, Chris Kendall, to say that's a penalty. You can't do that.
Got to be better than that, Gadwin Springer. The moment that ball goes behind him, his next job is to avoid contact with any defender. And Featherstone Rovers, we saw it in the first half. The first opportunity they had to look at the line of the Wolfpack, they got over and they scored.
Luke Cooper for Featherstone Rovers. Enjoying the most consistent of his 5 seasons at Post Office Road. Played 32 of 33 this year. In the last 7. McClellan ignored Cooper. Give it to Chisholm instead, and Hardcastle with some space, trying to step around Ricky Lettelli. And Ricky Lettelli puts him in touch. All the experience in the world there from the NRL Grand Final winner of 3 years ago.
Lovely work from both sides. The 6 and 7, McClellan and Chisholm working together, trying to create the edge, but look at what this Wolfpack do. They shut that space, close it down, and then make sure that Hardcastle goes over the sideline. They retain possession. And let me tell you, Ben, about Brian McDermott. I think great leaders have the ability to absorb pressure and let everybody else underneath them just go along with their work, unaware of how much is at stake. I suspect that Brian McDermott, having worked with him on many occasions, will have done just that. Calmed everybody down, get back to the process that we set out originally before the ball kicked off, and let's just play rugby league.
Talking about Gareth O'Brien being crowned the Championship Player of the Year, McDermott missed out on the Coach of the Year accolade. That went to York City United's James Ford, who of course has had a magnificent season of his own. Here is Mellor, meanwhile, for Toronto Wolfpack.
He's running the ball a lot, isn't he, in this second half, Joe Mellor. Then Chisholm, the man who's been penalised for a high shot on his opposite. Joe Mellor, he's got a good turn of pace, and you can see he hits him. You can't have any complaints with that. It was high. They are now defending in their own half.
Lively capacity crowd roaring the Toronto Wolfpack on. Are they roaring them to Super League? They trail at the moment. Desperate to hit the front at all, I should say. Wilkie flings the ball to Dixon. That's O'Brien, throws the dummy. O'Brien looking for the line.
Oh, great defence.
Sensational defence from Sutcliffe.
Golding there, Sutcliffe there. Great work from Harrison, the number 17, the big tall timber. It looked like they created the space, found an edge. Will they have another go here?
McCrone. This is Mellor. Tackled by Bussey. McCrone once more. That's Wallace. Wallace. Square up Makatoa. Camped under the post, Toronto Wolfpack. John Wilkin looking for the line. John Wilkin almost finding the line.
It's Harrison again. It's Harrison again.
Golding in there as well, but monumental work from James Harrison.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Over the top. Look at him holding on. Golding comes in. And James Harrison hasn't he been one of the standout figures in this playoff series? Scored a try in all 3 games, but that shows what he can do defensively as well.
The influence of John Wilkin is growing in this game now. I counted 2 times he played the ball, John Wilkin. I've watched games where he's played for Toronto. He hasn't played the ball at all. Good work from the back of the play, the ball from Cameron King.
Thompson and McCrone. Bussey to the ground. The urgency, the former Wolfpack man. Wellington Albert. McClellan. O'Brien.
And I agree with Tony Ray, our guest in the studio at half-time. He talked about Latelli and that backfield getting involved a lot more. Chase Stanley, Liam Kay, Matty Russell. They've made a mistake here, the Toronto Wolfpack. Matty Russell, so dependable. He's trying to get up and play the ball as quick as he can. It's Chase Stanley, I beg your pardon, who drops the ball whilst trying to regain his feet. And there's the fumble.
Look at this game, Barry, and how many times have they been picked up for obstruction, running behind their own man, getting up, playing the ball? They've either dropped it or played it incorrectly. There's probably 6 or 7 occasions when they're just not helping themselves, Toronto. Maybe that's because of the pressure that Featherstone seem to be putting on them.
Wellington Albert dumped to the ground by Bodine Thompson. Cameron King. Makatoa now. King, Albert. Dane Chisholm, no look past Jack Bussey. Back to Dane Chisholm. Albert, a flat in attack here, Featherstone. The flat cappers. Need some momentum here. McCrone with the tackle. Chisholm inject some pace into this.
He's gone
Almost
behind
gave
his
himself
own,
up.
He's gone behind his own player, Jack Bussey, then had to take a knee. And then there's a mistake off the back of it. What have we got on the clock here? 50 minutes. Let's not forget, the Wolfpack are full-time. They're a well-oiled machine, perfect physical specimens. Featherstone Rovers are part-time players, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers who are still putting in a huge shift here.
Featherstone, of course, so Toronto with a fortnight off. Featherstone didn't arrive home from Toulouse until Monday evening. 5-hour coach journey from Bristol Airport. They boarded a flight for Canada on Thursday. You throw that into the mix as well.
But you listen to the coach, Ryan Carr, before the game. He didn't make any excuses. And he said that, look, we've just got to get on with it. We knew what we had to do. And they've done a sterling job so far.
The last quarter is going to be the telling part of this game. I'm confident that big games, mainly it gets decided in the final phase of any contest. 4-6 we've got on the scoreboard. It's about your mental and physical stamina.
Cooper rocked O'Brien back. Springer. Wilkie.
Oh, good pressure. Makatoa.
Still the last tackle. Need some composure here. Mella has it. He does put boot to ball.
Latelli.
Latelli rushing in there to close down Golding.
He did well, Latelli. Got back on side, made the effort to get behind the ball kicker, made that tackle, and Ashton Golding, who's been flawless at the back. There's been some top performers in the Featherstone Rovers shirts. Big decision for man of the match. Long way to go yet, though.
Jack Render plays the ball. This is Johnson. Academy Grand Final try 5 years ago. Warrington lost to Wigan in the final. Makatoa. The Wolfpack fans cheering their side on, and goes high on the last from Chisholm.
Oh, it's a wicked kick. It's a
Good
wicked
bounce
kick.
anywhere. What's the chase like? O'Brien is there. Hardcastle was there. Managed to skirt round Jack Render as well. Really good play from Gareth O'Brien.
Oh, that was a tremendous kick, wasn't it, from Dane Chisholm? Finding the space, the back three from Toronto. Didn't want any part of that then.
Liam Kay now. Plays it for Wallace. Olberson cruises onto the ball, but immediately stopped there by Makatoa. McCrone.
There's a lot of quality on the bench for the Wolfpack. Tom Olberson, the player that's just joined the match now, got a good engine, high skill.
Joe Mella, scampering run, last tackle. Running it with Thompson. Thompson puts boot to ball, it's a good kick. Just too long, and look at the composure there from Ashton Golding, and the response from him as well, the former Leeds man. He knew he just had to let that go, and then they'd have the ball back.
Well, he knows his job, doesn't he, Ashton Golding? He knows as well that if he makes a play for that, it's another set of 6 that they've got to defend. And what he's doing as well, he's putting a solid blue wall in front of him. They're defending really strongly. There's a lot of communication at the back from Ash Golding. And then on the back of that, the forwards just doing the job, ramping up, leading by example. Again, the captain, James Lockwood, who was brilliant last week to lose. 32 tackles, 23 carries for 167 metres.
Absolutely outstanding across the channel 7 days ago. Don't forget, set your alarms early in the morning, 9:30 start, Sky Sports Arena. Sydney Roosters against the Canberra Raiders. The reigning premiers up against the English boys, and then the big one, the Super League Grand Final at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. Next Saturday, 5 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena. St Helens, the league leaders, against Salford, who have surprised everybody already.
Well, Jack Bussey been penalised by the referee for throwing Tom Olberson off. He said that, look, I'll take control of the ruck. You just leave it up to me. Don't be just playing for them sort of plays. It's criminal, giving a penalty away when you've got control of the ball. And now look what that's done to them. They're under pressure yet again.
Olberson trying to apply that pressure, suffered heartache in the £1 million game 4 years ago, the very first one. with Bradford at Wakefield. He has a wrong to right in Toronto. McCrone, Wilkin, Olberson again, Olberson looking for the line, still going. Big tackle from Lockwood, quick play the ball though, and McCrone is lively, fires the ball to Dixon. Sutcliffe with the tackle, McCrone still going, O'Brien had it.
It's a knockdown fair from Featherstone. And again, they seem to be in scramble mode. There's a couple of quick play the balls. Dane Chisholm's the man who just sticks his arm out, goes into Gareth O'Brien. They'll get head and feed here, Toronto.
They are creaking, aren't they, Featherstone Rovers? They put a heck of a lot of energy into those 15 minutes of the second half, much like the first half, defending for their lives. And the Toronto Wolfpack looking at the line already. What's he got?
Wallace looking for the line, has he found it? Blake Wallace under the post. Referee gives the try. Toronto Wolfpack hit the front. Look what it means to those players. Something in there perhaps from Featherstone. Look what it means to Blake Wallace. He knows how important that 4-pointer could be. A blistering start this season, 15 tries in the opening 17 rounds. Is he going to close it with a huge 4-pointer at the Lamport Stadium?
Well, a couple of tries that they've conceded, Featherstone, it's off the back of their own mistakes. An offload in the first half. Then Jack Bussey, bit penalised. Josh McCrone goes at the line again. Another set of 6, Dane Chisholm sticks his hand out. And this is where Toronto want to get you. All about attacking players going at the line. Speed and footwork that beats the captain, James Lockwood. You go up, you plant your feet. Anyone that's got the speed and the strength that Blake Wallace has got, they will get you. And that's exactly what he did then.
They do this a lot, the Wolfpack, don't they? They overload with pivots and decision makers. And Wallace, the try scorer, Blake Wallace, he joins Josh McCrone, Joe Mellor, Gareth O'Brien.
No mistake this time from Gareth O'Brien. Toronto Wolfpack in double figures.
What it does to Featherstone Rovers is they don't know whether the players with the ball are going to set up a play, pass the ball or run with it. And Blake Wallace, well, he does the last one. He takes on a flat-footed defensive line in Featherstone Rovers. A little bit of red sweat there for Blake Wallace. He'll get patched up and crack on.
Without a try since the June defeat of Dewsbury, Blake Wallace, but he's struck just when it matters in the most important game of them all. 3 minutes short of the hour mark. Toronto ahead by 4.
Well, they can't let him get some back-to-back tries. Tom Olberson comes up with a strong carry. Thought it was a shoulder charge then from James Harrison.
Sniping run from McCrone on the back of that.
Look at them now, they're all excited. Everyone wants to be a part of this game now, carrying the ball. All the key men, McCrone, Mellor, John Wilkin, Gareth O'Brien, around the play of the ball.
When I talked about pivots, I forgot to mention John Wilkin. That's because he almost does the work of 2 players. He carts the ball forward, but he's got the skill and ability to find a pass, as he does on that occasion.
Pass at the line, finds Mellor, and Joe Mellor still going. Golding with the tackle.
That's it, Joe!
Toronto Wolfpack looking for the knockout blow here. Perhaps. It's Wallace again looking for a double. Wallace looking for the line again.
A strong defence, Ash Golden and McLennan. Look at them, they just clamp that ball. They've saved the try, but what they've got to do now is play it and get 100 metres up the other end of the field. Going to be difficult. Look at this now, the line speed that they've got. The carry from Josh Hardcastle. Can't quite get that quick play of the ball he's after. Wellington Albert just tries to keep pumping those legs.
Toronto Wolfpack will hook the mistake. Olberson with the tackle. Golding. Shut down immediately by Blake Wallace. King's pass. Lockwood now.
Nice speed from King from the dummy half position. Bussey urging the referee to give them a penalty.
McClellan on the last, no penalty was forthcoming, but it's a misfield really by Gareth O'Brien. Liam Kay forced to pick up the pieces here.
You have to credit Featherstone Rovers, the character that they're showing. It'd be easy at this point for them to wilt, give up, but they're still presenting that solid blue line, doing all the little bits and pieces, chasing the kicks. Wellington Albert putting in the latest tackle.
McCrone, this is Latelli. Opposite number Hardcastle in attendance alongside Jack Bussey. Wilkin, look forward to Mellor. He in turn gets a high tackle.
Yeah, he's been so influential in this second half, Joe Mellor. Made 170 appearances for Widnes Vikings. You can see he cops a high one from Makatoa. They'll take the 2 points here. Will they run it? Oh, they're running it through Anthony Mullally.
Decided not to go for the 2 points then, Toronto Wolfpack. They know that a two-score cushion could be hugely valuable. Wallace gives it to Bodine Thompson, bumps off one, plants the ball down, and Bodine Thompson scores 2 tries in 5 minutes for Toronto Wolfpack. And is that the moment where Brian McDermott's men are closing in on Super League in 2020?
Well, the Wolfpack's third try has no finesse about it. It's big man on little man, intelligently constructed by the Toronto Wolfpack. The Featherstone Rovers can't blame anybody else that set themselves. A high tackle from Makatoa and Joe Mellor, who's been a constant thorn in the side of the Featherstone Rovers defence. Wilkin again. Short pass from Josh McCrone. Blake Wallace, should I say.
How good is John Wilkin when he goes at the line? Like, as a defender, you plant your feet. Yeah, you know that there's attackers outside you. And like you said, Barry, Blake Wallace, he only gives that ball out to Bodine Thompson when it's time to do that. Another 2 points here.
And it's the simple option taken from Blake Wallace. Just give it to a bigger man. Give it to him early and let him make it his own path.
2 more points from Gareth O'Brien from right in front of the post. It's a 10-point cushion now for Toronto Wolfpack. And Bodine Thompson, heartache in the Super League Grand Final 12 months ago. Could he be tasting champagne after the £1 million game? It's a knock-on immediately. And what a response this is from Featherstone.
Well, they knew exactly what they were doing then. Just by the way that they kicked that ball, the power that was behind the kick, straight at Ricky Latelli. Look at that, it wasn't anything about hang time. It was about getting it off the field, kicking it as hard as they can, making it difficult for any Toronto player to catch the ball. And now they've got a chance.
How costly could the error from Latelli be? Quick thinking, like you say, Terry, from Featherstone has earned this position. Cameron King, that's Davis. Now McClellan. And Golding with some space. Golding attacking that space. Latelli in there. Wallace in there. Jack Bussey. There's the pass for McClellan. Here is Makatoa. Wilkin with the tackle. Back from Chisholm. Looking for the line. And O'Brien shuts the door in the nick of time to deny Harrison, but they're going to pounce. Are they from acting half-back there?
Held up and short. Good goal line defence.
Repels Cameron King. Kick from Chisholm, could go anywhere, could bounce anywhere. Wallace has it.
Well, he scored a try like that last week in the south of France. John Davis, a little kick through from the half-back. He was there again, put himself where the action is. He just couldn't get through that defensive wall in Toronto. Dane Chisholm again, he shows how dangerous he is close to the line. Speaking of dangerous close to the line, what about this from Cameron King? A little bit of a somersault, he can't get over the line, can't ground the ball. Really like the character of Ryan Carr's men, what they're showing.
Tempting to do what Brian McDermott achieved twice at Leeds, winning a grand final from 5th position. Former Leeds boss steered the Rhinos to Old Trafford glory against St Helens in 2011 and Warrington the season later. Chisholm, Makatoa. Great offload as well. Now McClellan has it. Thompson wraps him up. King. Lockwood. Chisholm. No way through for James Harrison. It's going to be a Featherstone penalty, though.
You know, wouldn't you love to see some of these players in the Featherstone shirt in a full-time environment? James Harrison's one of those that stands out, that Barry and I have talked about. Give some of them a chance. Look at them, they're willing workers.
He hasn't been off the field yet, Harrison. It's not often we watch a game he doesn't score.
King gets the ball away for Chisholm. Really good tackle again, though. Chase Stanley it was on Harrison. Now Lockwood.
It's the Wolfpack's turn to dig deep now. Under pressure. Is their door creaking as well?
14 to go, 10 points the difference. That's how close Featherstone are. And Bussey, how he would love to score on this ground. McClellan's kick.
That's his worst kick of the evening, that. Callum McLennan has such a big influence for his side. He's steered and guided his team around the field. They can't not take advantage of those opportunities. They don't arise, they don't come up, particularly in the final quarter. What we're looking at here now, 13 minutes left on the clock. Every chance is vital.
Nice shot up top. I think it was the captain, James Lockwood, on John Wilkin. Just have a little look at the way that they have played, the way that they've defended. There's a mistake here from Wilkin just as he's getting up.
You're right, Tez. The amount of basic, fundamental mistakes. I'm not putting it down to fatigue. I'm not putting it down to pressure. So much at stake. I'm going to credit Featherstone in the way that they've really taken this game to the Toronto Wolfpack. Shouting instructions now. The replacement fullback Cameron King, he knows what he wants. He knows what part of the field he wants to start from.
Lockwood. This is Davis. Really nice pass. Droid so close. And now Harrison. Harrison looking for the line, gets past one.
It's working for them, that short little pass at the line.
Cameron King waits. King is going to try and go himself here. O'Brien underneath it.
Oh, there's a little bit of sledging.
There.
Sledging and a slap there. John Wilkin stands and towers over the top of Cameron King and says, you get that wrong. And there you go, short little right hook.
Well, everyone knows how dangerous Cameron King is from close range, and that's what John Wilkin was saying. We've got you covered. We've absolutely got you covered. And he makes the mistake.
And what does John Wilkin do? He doesn't react, he doesn't chase, he just cracks on with his job, showing all that experience, John Wilkin.
And crucially, composure in this last 11.5 minutes or so. Liam Kay has it. Ormond Road with the tackle. McCrone gives it to Wilkin. Now it's Wallace trying to throw a dummy. He's throwing the dummy at Wallace on the afterburners. O'Brien. Featherstone are creaking now. Mellor with a dummy. Mellor with another dummy. He's still going, Joe Mellor. Gets up, touches the ball down. What does the referee say? Joe Mellor might just have won this game for Toronto Wolfpack. They are going to take their place in Super League next year, perhaps. It will take a monumental effort now from Featherstone Rovers. They're dancing in a Lamport Stadium, a capacity crowd, and Joe Mellor with the try. His 8th of the season in the championship, and none more important than that one.
Well, they've been courageous in this game, Featherstone. Up the other end of the field. Cameron King goes for the breakaway. Wallace goes through the line, and John Wilkin, he got a bit of a slap from King, but he got on with his job. He gets involved, he delivers the ball out wide to Joe Mellor, and I think he has been a standout in this second half. The amount of times that he has run to the defensive line, he's took Featherstone on, he's got through the line, he's troubled, and look at that, he just can't get there, and he goes through about 5 or 6 players, even takes the referee down with him, Chris Kendall.
5 tries, and the last 4 for Joe Mellor. And a sellout crowd, the first time in Toronto's history they've achieved that. They are going to be partying all night in Toronto. Blake Wallace assumes the kicking responsibilities. 33 goals already this year. 3 tries in 13 minutes have taken this match away in the second half from a brave effort from Featherstone Rovers. 9.5 to go, 2 more points from the boot of Blake Wallace, and Toronto now ahead by 22 points to 6.
Well, as we take a look at Joe Mellor's 5th try in 4 games, what we're going to do is pay credit to John Wilkin. The toughness, the mental toughness of John Wilkin. He doesn't react. He's then involved twice in the set of 6. And sometimes, let me tell you, it's easy to throw a punch in that situation. Sometimes the tougher thing is to just get on with your job. And that's what John Wilkin did, and Featherstone Rovers will profit from a penalty. Bodine Thompson has given a penalty away at the play of the ball. And the referee, Chris Thompson, is screeching. I don't think it's Bodine Thompson.
Chase Stanley.
It's Chase Stanley, the referee, has misidentified the centre there.
Short kick-off initially didn't come up for Featherstone Rovers, but they've got possession now. And now we can tell you the 4 nominees for the R-League Man of the Match. 2 from Toronto, 2 from Featherstone, Joe Mellor and John Wilkin for the hosts, and Ashton Golding and Callum McClelland for the visitors. Vote now via the R-League app.
It's not a bad way to defend. 72 minutes gone on the clock. Jack Ormond, let me tell you, he's a handful. He's a big, powerful man. And look at him. He was driven back. The ball, his arms free. He's not trying to offload it. He just can't bring that ball back in tight to his torso. He loses it.
Featherstone, the first away team to win in Toronto. Final round victory, 30 points to 12 back in July 2018. It's a huge ask for them just now. Just over 7 minutes left. They led at the break by 2, remember, but been blown away by a trio of tries in the 3rd quarter.
Well,
It's gone the other way.
Again from Toronto, mistakes at the rope. Brian McDermott, like Barry will tell you, like how thorough he is in what he does and what he wants from his players. He will make sure that the players respect the ball in position in the field, and he'll know that the game will go in Toronto's favour, but he'll still be disappointed with some of the aspects. But it's mission accomplished. You've got to say that in 3 years, what Toronto have achieved with a sellout crowd is absolutely incredible.
A huge day in Canada, a huge day for Toronto, huge day for the Wolfpack. In such a short space of time, they will be taking their place among the elite. Ormond gets the ball away, the ball goes to Brown, Mellor picks it up.
The mistake made there. You can just see that Joe Mellor, who ends up with the ball exhausted on the floor, he's put in a huge effort, as have every one of these 34 players.
Yeah, and do you know, I've been looking at some of the posts on social media from some of the past players from Featherstone, wishing the players all the best. The likes of Brendan Tutor, Richard Slater, Andy Fisher, Neil Law, Stuart Dickens, like, incredible. They'll be looking at these players and they'll give them full respect for what they've done, for what they've had to do over the last week. The winning Toulouse, the flight home from Toulouse, the flight to Canada, and then for 60 minutes they were well and truly in this game.
And the work before that, of course, they pipped Bradford to 5th by a single point. They won at Lee, they won at York. Then they went to Toulouse and victorious there. It's been an incredible run.
Tremendous.
Much like Salford Red Devils, we mentioned it in the first half. Ryan Carr has really gathered his troops, given them a belief in themselves. As they end up with the ball again through Jack Render. Ashton Sims turning round to his team saying, let's just calm down. Calm down, he's saying. Ashton Sims, who draws the curtain on his 17-year career, giving great service to the game of rugby league. Playing in Australia, England, of course, with the Warrington Wolves, a Fijian international captain, played in the World Cup.
3 times a World Cup semi-finalist.
3 times, I was just about to say, Ben, steady down. And a hell of a human being as well. Good man.
Topped the table with Warrington 3 years ago in Super League, but lost at Wembley and Old Trafford that season. He's topped the table with Toronto in 2019. He's closing in on the championship as well. Ovisu about to right the wrongs of his £1 million game heartache. Render.
They are still throwing punches, aren't they, Featherstone Rovers? There's nobody looking for the long grass. There's nobody prepared to give up. Leave it all out on the field, boys.
Golding. Been outstanding.
You look at the makeup of both sides as well. There's players in Featherstone that have played the majority of their career in the championship. There's players making the way in the game. This Toronto side are a star-studded side. Internationals from all around the world. So credit where credit's due. Credit to Toronto, but also a lot of credit to Featherstone.
And that young man's got a big future in the game. Callum McLennan really grown in this playoff series.
Sutcliffe played the ball. Chisholm. Toronto hand left highest.
Looking for the Ash Golding. How many tries has he saved? Looking for the try. Been outstanding every time he's worn a Featherstone jersey this year. Look at him getting involved from the ruck. Ash Golding.
Well, we don't pick man of the match, but I'll tell you, my man of the match has been John Wilkin in attack and defence, passing the ball, running the ball. That element of composure he showed when he caught one on the chops. That's a real leader's knock he's taken today.
McCrone.
There he is, right
there he
is. Barry.
That's the 3rd time he's played the ball. That must be a world record as well.
John Wilkin, 4-time Challenge Cup winner, Old Trafford winner in 2006. O'Brien knows what's required. He knows they're so close. Touched there by Featherstone. So Toronto will have the head and feet at the scrum. That is not what Ryan Carr's men needed right now.
I said something out of turn. Well, the game's gone against them. Maybe a bit of frustration just creeping in, and Josh McCrone just having a go at one of the Featherstone players that obviously said something that they shouldn't have. We wouldn't like to see this scoreline with another 6 points added to that Toronto 22, because it's not been one of those games where they've been on the wrong end of the score by 28.6. But look at them, are they going to take the 2 here? They've set out with the goals at the start of the year. Brian McDermott, well, they've got them all together as a group. look, lads, what do we want to achieve this year?
I'm disappointed.
We failed last year. We're better prepared this year. And we want to make sure that at the final whistle in the £1 million game, we're the ones who are celebrating.
I'm disappointed here. If Ashton Sims has anything about him, he should step forward and have a go at that.
It's going to stay with Blake Wallace, I think. Inside the last 60 seconds. 2 more points, crowning a huge win for Toronto. Macron already celebrating. It's not Ashton Sims on his last appearance, but the flags go up. Wallace adds his 2nd goal of the game. Smiles all round for Toronto Wolfpack. They are heading for Super League. Toronto Wolfpack will be in the top division in 2020. Look what it means to a capacity crowd at the Lamport Stadium. The project is 3 years old and they have hit the big time.
I wonder if the Toronto mayor, John Tory, is going to put him on an open-top bus tomorrow. He's watching the Wolfpack here today. And he's certainly done him proud, hasn't he? All the competition with other professional teams within the city. Well, they're creating their own headlines here. And what they've achieved, like I said before, over 3 years is incredible.
Incredible effort for Featherstone as well. To win at Leigh, to win at York, to win at Toulouse.
Yeah.
And to be leading, let's not forget, at half-time in this one as well.
They've been absolutely brilliant. Every game we watched this playoff involving Ryan Carr's men.
There it is. Toronto are promoted to Super League in 2020. They have won the £1 million game.
Not yet, they haven't, Ben. The referee, Chris Kendall, is saying we've got to form this scrum and we've got to go through the next bit. I suspect this ball will go into the scrum and somebody will kick it. Oh, sorry, it's a penalty. My mistake.
Josh
There you go, kicking it off.
puts it in touch. Brian McDermott can celebrate. Toronto Wolfpack have won the £1 million game. The Canadian side will take their place among the Super League elites in 2020 before a capacity crowd at the Lamport Stadium. It came up short 12 months ago as London Broncos produced a smashing grab raid on this ground. They have come back. They've led the table again, and they have gone one step further in 2019. Liam Kay, the top scorer, 2 tries in their first ever game at London Scholars. The record scorer can celebrate now. He will be in Super League in 2020. Heartbreak for Featherstone Rovers, who have produced a monumental effort of their own from 5th position to even be in this position.
When you look at this